So we drew our first hand of 5, which was a crappy draw. But the acceptance card here costs 3 to liberate, but it has an action down here that says, liberate a card in your hand with a cost of 4 or lower, the cost being the number in the top left-hand corner. This effect does not cost virtue points or liberation slots. So in this case, if I use this, I could theoretically liberate 2 cards. Well, if I wanted to use acceptance, you'll notice that there are only 2 cards that I could use that have a cost of 4 or lower. You cannot use a card to liberate itself because it's already been used and it would not then be in my hand. So the question now becomes do I want to use this card to get rid of hunger? I think so. So I'm going to actually use the acceptance card and I will liberate hunger. So I no longer have that earthly desire. Boom, it is into the beyond. We have succeeded in liberating our 1 card. We are down to 29 cards. But it did not take a liberation slot, so I could liberate a second card. Well, the only one in which I could do, since these cost 5 and 8, is this 1 virtue. The question is, do I want to liberate that, or do I want to keep it in my deck to be able to then use it as a virtue point later to be able to get rid of maybe some of these higher point cards? I think the answer is yes on that. So therefore, with that being said, I think I'm going to forego my second liberation because this one was free, and I'm going to discard those. There we go. We draw 5 more cards. So we have Karma, Realization, a 3 virtue card, a 1 virtue card, and a 1 virtue card. And feel free to chime in with suggestions. I have yet to win this game. I've gotten down as close, and I put in air quotes, close, as 1 card. Although, as James Nathan alluded to, was I really that close when I got down to the 1 card because I didn't have a way of getting rid of it? You kind of got to work backwards, right? Well, liberating this card for Realization says it creates 3 liberation slots, which means I could theoretically liberate 4 cards this time. Well, you know what? I think we will use Karma. Karma says, action, draw 3 cards. So let's draw 3 cards. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So we have Greed, so it's another Greed card. We've seen that. Let me turn the brightness down just a little for you guys. There, all right. Oh, okay. Good to know, James. I appreciate that. So Absolution says, understanding. Liberating this card increases virtue points by 3. So in other words, I would need to spend 1 virtue point to liberate this card. And when I do so, I then trigger the Absolution card, which says I get 3 free virtue points. But note, it does not give extra liberation slots. But liberating this gives me an additional 3. However, I think getting rid of the high value Greed, since it's a completely empty card and it's a high value and I think I'll do so. So I'll spend 3, 4, and 5, and we'll liberate Greed. We now have 2 cards in the Beyond, which means, hey, now we can actually shuffle up the discards when all this is said and done and continue the game. So that's good. And so I used my 1 liberation slot. So then, into the discard they go. 5 more cards. There we go. So you need to work backwards and make sure your last card is one of the 0 cost cards. Right, exactly. In theory, at least, that's what you're trying to do. We have a Fate card, a 2 virtue card. We have Hunger, and it's a delicious looking piece of strawberry cake. A 1 virtue card and a 2 virtue card. So Fate says it's a special card. It says choose 1 action or understanding card. So I don't have any, as it were, but if I did, from either your hand or from the used area. So that Fate card that I had gotten up here to draw 3 cards, I could have then triggered it again using that Fate card. But as it were, I don't have that. So I think getting rid of this useless Hunger, let them eat cake? ? Question mark? So we'll go ahead and get rid of that hunger card. I think that's a good use of our liberation slot for that hand of cards. I'm pretty happy with the way this is going so far. Emphasis on the so far. So here we go. We have another fate card, another 2 virtue, a 1 virtue. Realization, this is 3 extra liberation slots. And acceptance. All right, this allows us to get rid of any card out here because 4 points or less, except not itself. Well, I don't want to trigger that, but I think, you know what? Getting rid of that, because I can't spend these 3 virtue points to then get rid of this 3 value 2 virtue point card. Doesn't work that way. So I think I will just liberate that 1 0 value 1 virtue, or a 0 cost 1 virtue card. There we go. Hey, Ashbourne. I imagine this is not going to be the most, sadly, I think there are a lot of folks that would really enjoy this because, let's face it, what do you need? You technically need these 30 cards to be able to play this entire game. So it travels really well. So we have a 3 value, a 2 value absolution, which is liberating this card gives us 3 more virtue points and a couple of enlightenments. All right, so we have enlightenment. This says when you liberate this card, you can liberate a card from your hand with a cost of 5 or lower. You know what that is? That's a 6. So we can't do that one. But we could liberate this 2 if we want. And unfortunately, I could use these 2 virtue points to liberate this card, which costs 1, leaving me 1, and this would give me 3 more, which would give me 4, isn't 6, plus I can't liberate 2 cards. So the question is, do we want to use that as a virtue card to get rid of this 2? It makes me nervous, I'm not going to lie. I think because we have, and we are freely allowed to look at anything in the beyond, in the far shore, and we are also, believe it or not, allowed to look at these cards. Okay? The reason we're allowed to look at these cards, well, because the rulebook says we can. But we then have to shuffle. So we have to shuffle up 2 cards, etc., there, so we know what's coming. But honestly, I think we use the 2 virtue point card to get rid of 2 of the enlightenments. And here's why. Because we have gotten rid, So here, we've gotten rid of 3 of the, what are those called? Desire cards. 1 of the greeds, which is a 5 value greed. And I think leaving just 1 of the enlightenments works out. Or do we get rid of the... Do we get rid of the enlightenment or do we get rid of the 2? I'm going to get rid of the enlightenment. So we will liberate the enlightenment card. Done. So now, as we know, there are 2 cards left. So we have to spend 2 cards from the beyond. Doesn't matter which 2. We'll do the top 2, greed and enlightenment there, to then shuffle up our deck. And we have 2 cards already out there, so we need to draw 3 more. So welcome, JT Chisholm. So how many of y'all watching have never heard of this game until I announced the stream for this? Yes, I'm cutting my own shuffle. Kind of hard to have somebody else do that in a solo game when nobody else is here. All right, so here we go. We got 5 cards. Hey, there's hunger. Hey, a karma card. All right, so what else do we have? We have a 1 virtue, a 3 virtue, and acceptance, which allows us to get rid of liberate a card of 4 value or less, which is a karma card. However, Oh, that's tempting because these are hard to get rid of, right? Nope. I think we're going to go ahead and use it right now, the karma card, and we will draw 3 more cards. So we have a fate card, which allows us to re-trigger something. Well, now that Lust has come out, and Lust is an 8 value card and really hard to get rid of, we're going to use our fate card to then re-trigger karma to draw 3 more. What we're hoping for is some higher value cards here. That didn't work. There's a 1. There's a 1. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. We need at least a 1. Did not work out for us. That's unfortunate. So we powered through all these cards hoping to get rid of Lust. And we can't get rid of Lust. Oh. So what do? We have Enlightenment and Acceptance. Enlightenment allows us to get rid of a 5 cost or lower. And Acceptance allows us to get rid of a 4 cost or lower. Now we could get rid of this 3, but no chance we're going to do that since Lust still exists. And unfortunately, nothing gave us an extra slot either, so we can literally only get rid of 1 card. That's frustrating. So the question, though, yeah, you know what? I think I will use 3 virtue points to liberate Acceptance. Okay? And by liberating Acceptance, I'm sorry, never mind. That's wrong. I did that wrong card. I could use that as the action, which actually allows us a second liberate. Okay, so we will use Acceptance, the action, which says liberate a card in your hand with a cost of 4 or lower. This effect does not cost virtue points or liberation slots. So, there. So using that brings that up here. So I still have a slot in which to get rid of something if we wish. Well, let's go ahead and liberate a 1. It's a card out of our deck. It's a 0 cost. I think we're okay with that. We know we have at least 3 left. That's frustrating. Powered through all those cards, had 6 extra draws, and could not get enough to liberate Lust. 1. So we have a 3. Ooh, that's painful. Acceptance, karma, and realization. So that allows us 3 extra liberations. I think I'm okay because we have the extra liberation slots to go ahead and use karma to draw 3 more. We have another fate, which allows us to re-trigger something. Oh, there's greed, so there's good. Well, again, we have those extra slots, so we might as well use it. So I will re-trigger fate, draw 3 more. 1, 2, and 3, which is absolution, which liberating that card increases our virtue points by 3. I don't know that we need all those 2s. So let's figure this out. So we will liberate realization, which allows us, by doing so, triggers understanding and says liberating this card creates 3 liberation slots. So I can liberate 3 more cards. There's 5 to liberate greed. That's 1. Then I will spend 2 more virtue points, leaving 1 extra of absolution, which when I liberate increases virtue points by 3, which I don't need, but I'm going to liberate absolution, and then I'm going to liberate acceptance, which costs 3. So there we go. That's 2 and 3 cards that we have now liberated. And we have 3 left. So now we must pay the river Styx to cross. 1, 2, and we will shuffle. And we pay the 2 to be able to shuffle and create a new draw pile. All right, so 3, 4, 5. Chose not to cut this time. 1 virtue, 2 virtue, absolution, which adds 3 when liberated. Another 1 virtue and realization. Well, I guess the only real thing to do here is to get rid of another 1. And you never have to liberate, but you're always trying to, because that's the goal of the game, right? In case you're wondering, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cards left to liberate. A 2 virtue, a fate, which allows you to re-trigger in action. There's karma. All right, well, let's hope. I mean, we have 5 already. Let's hope we get lust out there. Get that out of our hearts. Get that out of our life. So we'll play karma to draw 3 more. A 2 virtue. There's acceptance, which allows a 4 or lower. And another 3. Well, we'll play fate to then hope that we can draw, that we have 50-50 shot that lust is in the top 3. One. Come on. 2. Hey, hey! What a monkeys. All right. So, let's get rid of lust to create new life, to connect this self to the next. 3, 6, that'll be 8. Lust has been liberated. That felt good. Hey, see what I did there? Now, what are you lusting for? Is it a lust for life? Is it a lust for food? Is it a lust for someone else? What is it? I know, going next level. But that's kind of this game, right? 3 cards left to be able to shuffle. So just to let you know an idea how many we have left. So we'll get lust out of there. And we reshuffle. I feel like I'm doing okay right now. I feel a little less weighed down, I guess. Which, ironically, I actually have a therapy appointment this afternoon after playing this. I think that's kind of an appropriate... I will cut this thing. Kind of an appropriate theme for today. All right, here we go. A 2 virtue. A 2 virtue. I played this earlier today and did not do well at all, in all honesty. So there's that. Wow. Okay. So now that we got lust, and again, we're allowed to look through these, right? So there's a lust already gone. There's a greed already gone. Oops. There we go. There's another greed and 3 hungers. So I believe there are 3. I think all of those are gone now. So at this point, the question is, with these high value cards, do I really need karma? Do I liberate karma? I think we do. All right. I think we do. So I'm going to spend 2 virtue points to liberate enlightenment. We don't need enlightenment anymore. Enlightenment says when you liberate this card, you may liberate a card in your hand with a cost of 5 or lower, and it doesn't cost virtue points or liberation slots. Well, by liberating enlightenment, it allows us to liberate a 4-value karma. Done. That felt good. I feel freer. Another fake card. 3 virtue. A little absolution, which when liberated adds 3 virtue. Oops. Kind of angling there. Well, I think I see the obvious play, right? I'll spend 1 virtue to go ahead and liberate absolution. Liberating this card increases your virtue. Oh. Doesn't work because you only get 1. Here's the trick, right? You only get one liberation per turn unless something gives you an additional. So I would like to get rid of one of these 6s, but I can't. Because if I spend this to liberate this, which gives me 6, I can't liberate a second card. Yes, I can. Fate says, choose 1 action or understanding card from your hand or the used area and use that card's ability. Well, I choose to use this. Absolution's understanding says liberating this card. No, it doesn't work. It still only allows me 1 liberation. Oh, you can, Jeroen. You can go wrong. The game can win. So now the question is, do we get rid of that 1? I think we do. We'll liberate that. That's frustrating. Grrr. We need to be able to get rid of those 3s now. That becomes the biggest thorn in our side because there are 2 6-point cards there. I guess we just need acceptance. A 1, karma, and a 2. And there are 2 cards left. Let's go ahead and look at them, shall we? Liberating that card adds slots. That would have been useful last hand. And a 2. So the question is, do we want to have these out here to be able to liberate more cards? I don't think so. So we'll shuffle those up. Take care, Ashbjorn. Okay. So if that's the case, oh, it makes me nervous, but we need to start focusing on getting rid of these guys. We're going to spend 4 virtue points, and let's just eject karma from our lives. Done. So we have 2. We have to spend 2 cards across the river Styx. There we go. And shuffle. There's 2. There's some realization for us. Some fate could add 6 liberation slots. Don't think that's going to be necessary. Well, I think at this point we need to start getting rid of do we? I think so. Spend those 3 to get rid of the 2. that I hope doesn't come back to bite me. 8 cards left, plus the, what, 4 we just discussed. So we're down to 12. Liberating that card adds 3 on absolution. There's acceptance. And we're at 5. I'm not willing to get rid of that 2. And we're allowed to look at these. Nope. I don't think I'm willing to get rid of that 2. Unless, you know what? Actually, maybe I do. So what do we have? We have 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, actually I will. So what we will do, we will spend these 3 to liberate acceptance, liberating a card in your hand with a cost of 4 or lower. So we will liberate both of those 2. So there's those 3. We need to pay 2. 1, 2. And shuffle. So we are down to 3 10 cards. Did I do that wrong? Oh, it was. I apologize. Good catch, James. You're right. So acceptance is liberate a card. When you're right. So in that case, moving it up here uses the action. You're right. So if that's the case, I will have liberated the 2 using that card, but then it's not in my hand, so this actually goes into my discard. That's it. Good call. Thanks. All right. And we'll cut there. 4 or 5. Get a drink. Good catch, James. Thank you. Nope, we backed it up in time. Oolong tea today. Thought that felt thematic. Anyway. Absolution. Oops. A 2, a 2, a 1, and a fate. Get rid of the 1. That's it. See, that's what the peanut gallery is for. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. So we're actually at 11 cards. So there's 5, and there's 1 left in the discard. Or, I'm sorry, in the draw pile. So acceptance. Fate. So we could double that up, conceivably. 3 extra slots. And not enough to spend that, I don't think. I don't think we actually liberate anything. Because I'm pretty sure that's the 3, right? Yeah. So we're not going to liberate anything this time. Ah, good call. I need to move one more over to replace acceptance. Good call. Then we're going to draw 1, and now we have to spend 2. And because you guys are curious, as am I, how many do we have left? 2, 4, 6. We have 8 there. Now, just FYI, to replace the inner case, it costs 2 cards to liberate after we've gotten rid of all the cards in the deck. It costs 6 to liberate the impermanence. This is Nirvana. And the rules, Anata, it costs 4 cards. Okay? Yeah, I know. It might be impossible, actually, to get rid of both of the 3s at this point. 2, 3, 4, 5. And there are 5 cards left. Three extra slots. There's 4. Let's hope the other 3's in there. Oh, that worked out. That's more than enough to get rid of that 3. So we liberate one of them. Now the question is, I need 1 more. No, I need 2 more in these. We're about to find out on whether or not I did that right or if I regret replacing or liberating all the 2's now. Fate, fate, acceptance, absolution. Nope, can't do it. Gonna lose. That's frustrating. Oh, maybe not. Because there's absolution, there is still a way to do it. But I can't, I need a fate and an absolution with the 3 and other cards. It's going to be tough, but it can be done. So I am not going to... Actually, I will use the action of acceptance to liberate a fate, 4 or lower. I could actually liberate both the fates. No, I can't. Cannot. So I will use acceptance as the action to liberate fate. There we go. And now we move 2 cards over. And we shuffle. That looks pretty well shuffled to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 left. Realization. 3 value, 3 virtue, sorry. A 2. A fate. And acceptance. I'll use acceptance to liberate fate, as it's a 4 value or less, and that's a 2. Then there are 3. So we need 2 then. Hey, Paul, put 2 in. Honestly, there are so few cards, it's easier just to scramble them up and pick 2. There we go. Absolution. I need that. Now I need the 3 to come out. I need the 3 to come out. And an extra slot 1. Nope. And there's the extra slot. Oh boy. It's going to be tight, but we're going to get rid of, or do we save that? Hold on. Nope, we're going to save that. We are not going to liberate the 1. So we're not doing anything on this one. So then 2 cards come over. Greed and Realization. So those are the 2 that are out there. All right. Now it's just teasing me because I don't have a, I need this, and the extra slot card into 2 to come out in the right order, and it's not. Nothing. So there's the extra slots and the 2. So now, out of these 5 cards, I need, let's see, I need the 3 out there, that out there, and 1 of those. It's getting tight, so we need to move 2 others over. I think there are 3 cards left. So we got 2 shots at this to get this right. Come on. Okay. There's one of the ones that I need. That's the other. This has got to be the 3. Come on. Yes! Okay. We will liberate the Realization first, which adds 3 slots. Then I will spend 2 virtue points to liberate Absolution, which triggers this to add 3. There's 1 left over, 3. So that's 4, 5, 6. That liberates that. We're down to 4 cards. So no need to shuffle anymore, but we do have to shuffle in a sense that 2 of those come over. So we have 4 cards to get rid of. Here we go. That's a 0 value. That's good. That's a 3 value, which gets rid of a 4 or less. That's a 3 value and a 3 value. I think I'm foobarred, aren't I? I am. Or am I? Yeah, I think I am. So if I spend 3 to get rid of that, to liberate that, that leaves those 3 cards. Yep, I'm going to be down to 1. I now have to spend 2 cards to shuffle, per se, because all those go into my discard. And that's what I'm left with. So then, I think it's appropriate that I'm left with Acceptance. So I will use the action here to get rid of a 4-point value card, because if I get rid of that, yeah. So I'll liberate the 2. Done. I have to spend 2 more cards over. There. I'm left with those two cards. I then can, there, and I'm stuck with acceptance. So even when you bet on me when there's nobody else, Jeroen, I'm sorry. We have to accept our fate and realize we failed. But there you go. Had we succeeded, just on the what if, right? There are 3 cards left. For a elevated win, it would cost 2 to get rid of this, 6 to get rid of this, and 4 to get rid of this, to liberate all of that back into the box.